The next fight is Su Mudaerji versus
I think you
Zarrukh
nailed that. I honestly think you nailed that.
Adashev. I mean, there's just I'm sounding these out as much as anybody from the Northeast can do. So the only insight I have here is Adashev missed weight in his last fight. He's a decent striker. He's 3-2. The problem with 3-2, that's not a great record, obviously, but 3-2, what is that? That doesn't mean anything. Like, that's not enough fights to really determine. That's such a small sample size. We really don't know much about him at all. This is striker versus striker. Adashev's loss, let's pull it up. It was a short notice loss, his last loss. It was versus Tyson Nam. We're going to touch on Tyson Nam in a minute. That dude has built a career on short notice, on people taking short notice fights. So his last loss is a short notice loss. Like, literally, I forget what it was. It was a couple of days he took that fight on. So this is a full camp. It's striker versus striker. And I think he's actually a very solid underdog. Let me look at the price real quick.
6,900.
Yeah, 6,900 versus 9,300. So $9,300 in DraftKings. That better be, you better score me 100 points. It's a guarantee that you're going to score me 100 points if I'm going to spend that kind of money on you. But for $6,900, again, it's striker versus striker. Styles make fights. If it was grappler versus striker, the grappler is going to win that 9 times out of 10, right? They're just going to shoot, get you down, and that's it. You're a fish out of water. Striker versus striker, and in this case, he happens to have a full camp. For $6,900, that's not necessarily the worst underdog pick that you can have. Dan?
Yeah, I didn't tape a whole lot on this one, but I saw the same thing. 13-4 versus 3-2. There's obviously a big difference in terms of experience. I almost wondered, and again, it might be out there, but if Adashev, however you say it, if he had kickboxing experience, because generally when you get these guys that are 3-2, 3-1 fighting against another guy who's got 15 plus pro fights, they justify it because he's had 30 K1 kickboxing fights. So I don't know if that's the case with him, but either way, I'm not touching this. Su is pretty expensive, and I don't know enough about the other guy to make a play. So I guess I'll go with Su just based off the experience, but I'm not touching it for DraftKings.
So very quickly, you are right. He's from Glory Kickboxing. He has a lot of kickboxing experience. His record was like,
relook at it.
It was a good record. He wasn't like 70-0 or something. He was like 15-3 or something like that. So it was a good record. He's a good kickboxer, and he's made his transition to MMA. So you're right. That's the only reason this fight got sanctioned. Otherwise, why would you ever let this fight happen? But it's striker versus striker. Mudaerji is also a striker. So that's why I went my direction.
Is anybody playing this guy? Or is anyone taking either of these guys?
Jacob?
Well, I will tell you that we are talking about 3-2, and Angelo said that I don't know how this fight got sanctioned. All 3 of his wins were in Bellator. So it wasn't in some weird off, regional circuit. They were all Bellator wins, which in my mind seems like it's going to be pretty easy.
But just some insight for you. I love Bellator. Bellator is an awesome promotion. Bellator runs like a small and large promotion at the exact same time. Their main card is a big time promotion with big paychecks and big names. The undercard is local fighters, or they bring somebody in to fight a local fighter to sell tickets and fill the stands. So Bellator undercard wins can be very favorable matchups depending on your situation.
Got it.
Okay.
So, I kind of agreed. I think you were talking about he might be a live underdog, especially when you mentioned his kickboxing as well. Now that we know that, I was actually wanting to pick him because I looked at the other record of Su, and I saw those 4 losses, and all 4 of those losses are submission losses. So I was hoping that the Adashev had some sort of background in that, and I was looking in my lineup for an underdog. I needed an underdog, I see the submission losses. I go to Adashev. I'm like, damn, he just didn't do it for me. So I stayed away from this one completely. But I think it's justified to look at him at what it was $6,900 with a kickboxing record. And it sounds like it's going to be a striking match. So I mean, you never know. It could be a live dog here.
Yep. Yeah, that's the route. That's the route I'm going. I mean, he's so cheap. I don't know if I bet real money on it, but certainly for a DraftKings lineup.
So you have Adashev in your lineup?
I don't remember my lineup. We'll look at it in a minute.
As he's putting Adashev in there.
Yeah.
After he
I
looked up the great kickboxing experience. Right. Oh, Dan, good point.
I can't wait to watch his back and see his eyes light up when he pulls it up on his browser, you know.
I can't wait to see Angelo's lineup at the end of this and then watch back all of his analysis.
It doesn't line up at all.
Right.
Like,
I would never pick Adashev. He's got 3 wins all of a sudden.